the Fuseki ends basically at the moment when we start some invasions. And yeah, when is the good time to start invasions? In my opinion, when there is nothing else interesting to play. Yeah, and the situation which makes it interesting to invade is also when some groups, for example, some walls, are not that strong anymore. So that let's imagine a situation. There is a wall, and from this wall there was a good extension. Okay, everything is fine. But later we play some moves. So let's say we have a wall, and the opponent will get some stones around. So at some point it will turn out that this wall is actually not as strong anymore. And this extension starts to be quite far away, so that there are more weaknesses. And like in this way, the opponent cannot attack us that well when we destroy his territory. And yeah, the perfect situation actually would be when we could invade, destroy opponent's potential territory, and even attack some of his groups. Let's have a look on the board. Yeah, this shape, it looks natural, right? Every move looks quite normal, and now there is a dilemma for white, where to play, at A or at B. So when we play at A, this looks like the common move recently. So let's say black answers, white plays here, black will play something like this. Let's say we get also this exchange later. So white gets some territory on the right, black gets some group which is not so weak. Maybe we can consider it even as some kind of a small wall. And now here white has two stones on the top. So first thing which comes to my mind is this stone from white. Does it match well with this group on the top or no? So in my opinion, this is a little bit not necessary, because without the stone still white would be alive. So in my opinion, it's not so good direction to have this stone for white here. So for black, it would be quite interesting in my opinion if looking on this right side. Later on the top, black has a wall, but black doesn't have this good extension. Okay, so this is a little bit of a pity for black, but maybe black can do something else. If we are looking on these two white stones, there is some weakness. So now when black got this wall, maybe it will be possible to play something in the middle and try to destroy this white shape, maybe while playing something like this. Maybe it will be possible to do there some problems for white. So this is, in my opinion, a way to use this stronger group which already appeared for black to try to destroy their some white's potential. So this is one option. So black gets some shape which is, in my opinion, not that bad actually. Yeah, but we can also try to think about a move B. This B is some kind of invasion, right? Like A looks quite kind of common Joseki, so B something uncommon. Yeah, but why playing at B? Normally after this move, white is able to be cut. Black can cut white. After this first move at A here below, it was not that easy. Now it's possible to cut quite easily. But yeah, what happens as well? In this situation, let's say we also play here for white. Of course, black can try to get still some base like this, but now, in my opinion, white gets already more territory than in the previous situation, so I think white should be quite satisfied after this. Also, like black didn't get any exchange which would strengthen black and make white play also quite close to this stone. So I think like this, white simply gets more territory, so white should be a little bit more satisfied. And in case black would try to cut white, okay, it's also possible. Usually this is the more interesting move for black. So let's say white answers. Now black maybe would like to connect own shape, maybe. So let's say black connects and white will play some move to make sure the corner is alive. And what's going on? Black's potential territory in the corner is basically completely gone. There is nothing. Even white has there some points. But there is one more thing, actually. Where is black's base? Black doesn't have a base, right? But black maybe has a nice wall. It looks like black got a wall, okay? But how to use this wall? Now, white has a stone. Here in the spot, this R10, there is a white stone. So how to play a nice extension from this wall? Not that easy, right? But maybe it's possible to focus on the other side. So that maybe when black will block here somewhere, maybe then it will be possible to invade. But actually we can look on this shape. Because of white having these stones nearby, these black stones, but not very close so that they are not too over concentrated, but they are like staying in a stable, balanced place. So let's say black would try to play here to surround white, so that maybe white would need to play there one more time, and black is hoping that maybe white will answer. and then black can add some moves so that black will have some like nicer wall, stronger group, and so on. But in this kind of situations, white has these stones around, and now it's actually possible to play a little bit different, in a little bit different way, and just start some cuttings. Like this, when white cuts, okay, corner locally can die, basically. In case black will play here and white answers, black plays here, locally there are no two eyes. But because of this situation that white has this like shape in the corner, white has a big eye. There is a big eye for white, so white has a lot of liberties in that area. So because of these liberties, it's really very difficult for black to start this kind of fighting. White can just play, for example, something like this, and what else left for black to play? It's not that easy to continue because of white having these stones around. So like this, when it's not that easy to continue for black, maybe it will simply not work. So because of this, black needs to take care basically of these two groups. And it's two groups, two black groups. Okay, white has a weakness, but white can connect at any time. White can connect later. White doesn't need to worry about this in this very moment. It's possible to play there later, but on the start it's possible just to keep black's groups separated, make use of these stones which are nearby, so that it's possible to keep some nice pressure and attack over opponent's stones. And then when white will feel already everything goes well, and maybe it will not be possible to really kill any group of black, at that moment maybe it would be interesting just to come back there for white to make sure this group is alive. So this is basically, in my opinion, white's plan in this kind of shapes. So it looks like it's very risky for black to try to cut now when white has stones nearby. So like this, it will just not work that easily, so that later it's possible to use this kind of cutting, not cutting, but let's say weakness and potential invasion here in white's shape, this h17. It will not be that easy because black doesn't have this help. Starting immediately, it's also not that easy because white can just focus on attacking that group on the right side. It looks a little bit heavier than these white stones here on the left side. So this looks also not that simple for black. Also, in case black will play a move like this so that white cannot cut black, white can just continue. Black has a wall with not so nice extension because white has a stone here, so what can black do there? Not much. So normally these kind of options, like these invasions, when black doesn't have this good continuation after a wall, it might be a really nice, interesting way for white to play. And next thing is that because of white has these stones around and black... it's not that easy for black to ignore because white can all the time keep on some pressure over this black's group, and when it's possible to attack, then this invasion starts to be even more interesting. So now when there is this black's group still available to some attack, in my opinion, white should feel quite good. So this is one option. To see some comparison, maybe it would be also good to check a little bit different position. Let's say the situation is like this. So what has changed? Now white is a little bit safer here on the top, so that this potential invasion simply doesn't work. Also, white is a little bit lower and further from the corner, so that next thing, that it would be more difficult to attack here white, but also it would be more difficult to attack here black. And next thing, white doesn't have a stone here in this area, so that this potential extension, in case white plays B, it might be not that interesting. So now if we're looking on this B move, and black will play the same. Black will play the same. Let's say we get a similar situation. Now what happens? Black gets a wall as well, but now white doesn't spoil this potential black's extension, so that black can play here even now. And black has this own group. Okay, it is there, like how it used to be, but now without this move from white, black is able to make this nice extension from this wall. So after playing a move like this, in my opinion, should be already a situation which black should feel like much more comfortable in. And actually, in this situation, for black, it might be even a bit easier to try to play this kind of move. Why? Because white doesn't have these stones that close, so that when white decides to cut in this moment, and let's say there will be this fight, that black will play something there, and there are these two groups from black. But now if we are looking on these surrounding stones, which were there before and they are not now, it's also less comfortable for white, because when white doesn't have a stone here, it's more difficult to attack these stones. This stone, when it was before in this spot, maybe it could also help a little bit more while attacking the other stones on the top. So like this is also not that easy for white, for white to attack like any of these two groups from black. So like this option is also a little bit more difficult in this case for white, even if black would try to play a little bit more aggressively. So in any case, in this situation when white doesn't have this help, it would be not that simple to simply invade in this corner. Yeah, but let's check the other variation. It might be also possible to play here at A. So then what would we have? In case black answers and we get a similar situation what was before, like this, maybe it's actually not that interesting for black, right? Because what happens now? White doesn't have a stone in this spot, so that it's not that inefficient. So yeah, for white, more interesting. Also, there is no weakness for white in the on the top, in the other position, so that it's also more difficult for black to use this wall. Because yeah, how to attack? Not that easy. So this kind of variation probably is also not that interesting for black. Because yeah, how to find a nice continuation? Not that simple. So maybe instead of getting a wall, it would be more interesting for black to try to find some other variation, some other possibility. So yeah, it might be, for example, possible to play just like this and later just getting this base, this territory. Okay, black's shape is not that powerful, black doesn't have this wall, but black has points. And now maybe in case white doesn't answer, later it might be also possible to play this kind of moves and try to attack a little bit the other group from white. Probably white would answer. Normally this is a common continuation in these kind of shapes. So that white is quite safe, there are no weaknesses and black gets center. Yeah, so this is some possibility. In case black would like to play something else, maybe it's also possible to play like these modern moves, again shown sometimes by AI, like for example this move, and later in case white plays here, black can just take the stone and white plays Tenuki. This is some other option, or black can also play like this, and then usually we get some ko. Yeah, there are a few more options. Just normally normally black doesn't want to get that wall because it's hard to use it. And overall, in this situation, like still, I would recommend for white to do this kind of stuff, not to be in this like uncomfortable position that black gets a nice extension from that kind of a wall, and white is simply just low in the corner. Yeah, so in this situation I would recommend this A move, and in the previous one like this I would already recommend to play a little bit deeper so that it's possible to focus on some attacking. Okay, so let's check some other situation. Yeah, here we see some attachments. Yeah, in the previous video we're looking on some moves, like why some attachments are good to make opponent a little bit over concentrated. Normally, when we're looking for invasions, we can also consider some attachments. So in this shape, let's focus first on this top right corner. White plays this attachment. Why playing there? Normally to sacrifice this stone. It sounds strange, but normally it is like this. White plays there to have some exchange so that it's possible to sacrifice and still get some nice profit. How does it work? Normally, let's say white will play here and black will answer. This is a common answer. So what can white play afterwards? Let's say white will play here. Yeah, why playing there? I will show you soon. So after this move, normally where black would play, like normally in really almost every time, almost every case, black would just extend. So then white gets also this move in center. So what happens? Black had the corner, has the corner. But now white gets also here these two extra stones, so that it's possible to get some extension from them. So in case black would have some surrounding stones in this kind of shape, this would be an interesting way, in my opinion, for white to invade. So white started with this Sansan, so that white just sacrificed it, but white got these another stones from this shape, so that later it's possible to start creating step by step some kind of a base. Or in case black will try to destroy this base, then white will get some kind of wall, maybe some extra stones, so that later it will be possible just to go in any direction, because the stones, in my opinion, will not be that weak. So this is some possibility. Maybe black can also think about playing like this. Now this move is not necessarily center. I think maybe black could ignore. Maybe it's possible to play in a little bit different way. Now white could have a problem, because how to continue with these two stones? These two stones are left without a nice extension, and it's not possible to really attack anything. White will be just attacked, so this is not so nice. But usually after this kind of move to come back for black and have their less territory, white can just ignore it. It's already quite fine for white. White got this stone here, so later white can just play elsewhere, and this stone is going to help. It will be there, so no need to worry. It will still do some profit for white. But actually, you can think, but actually, why playing this exchange? It's still possible to play there without all those moves. Yes, it's possible. But like this, white gets this extra stone, so that if white wants to think about this right side, this is some help. So it will be easier to make there this life on the right side. But why starting from the sun? Without the sun, if we are looking on the shape how it is here in this top left corner, when white plays a move like this, black can try to get a little bit more. For example, black can play like this. When white extends, black can already block the corner. So which corner was bigger? Like this or like this? In my opinion, this top left corner is a little bit bigger, so black gets there more territory. Okay, it's a little bit, there is a little bit bigger weakness, because yeah, maybe in the future white can play something like this, and here white cannot, to get some continuation. Yes, it is like this. The thing is that normally it depends a lot on the surrounding stones. So in case black would have here some extra stones like this, then it would be actually, there would be not that many weaknesses in black's shape, and black would have just more territory. And here, yeah, black would have less territory in case black would have a stone in this spot. So it's good to, of course, look about this what is around. Yeah, so in case black would have here some stones, this situation might be already quite interesting for black, because it's simply bigger for black. Yeah, but actually, we can also think that when we already see that this stone in Sansan might be like a little bit better move in some cases, maybe it's also good to check for some counter attacks from black. Normally, when white plays here, but black would like to focus very much on the right side, black would not like to give it away, then black has also another option. It's possible to play something like this. Yeah, so let's see it here in this lower right corner. Black can play also something like this, and this is a move to focus more on the right side. Because of having this move here, it's much more difficult for white to enter this area, and also much less interesting for white to play on the right side anymore, because black has this extra stone here, so in case white would like to make some base, it will help black, so it will be easier to destroy it. And for black also, when black would decide to make here some territory, then this move would look at least strange, because why playing there and having less territory in case black would decide to play something like this, because of course much more interesting for black would be just to like try to kill this stone in the corner and get bigger all this right side. So after playing this move, simply this right side starts to be less interesting, but for both players. So in case black would feel not so comfortable when white plays there, black can also consider playing this kind of Kosumi here on this S5. And what to do after this? There are a few options in the corner. Basically, white can try to survive. Like for example, white can try to make some ko, like while playing this kind of stuff. Later it's possible to play, for example, something like this. We get a ko. but ko might be not so comfortable. It might be also possible to play something else, might be possible to start with this move and try to get a little bit bigger base in that area. Maybe it would be a little bit more interesting for white. To try to make life unconditionally, there is some Tesuji. It's possible to play directly here. This move looks quite strange, but it's not that easy to kill it. So later when black tries to play something like this, white can make this exchange. And black will need to come back, and then white can make two eyes. In case black would play like this, white can play here, and there is going to be a ko, so it's not that unconditionally. Just in this ko, black will lose really a lot in case black loses this ko. So this one is like not so comfortable ko really for black, because later white will be able to cut here black's shape. Yeah, white can start this ko now, white can start this ko a little bit later. I would recommend to actually play this Atari first. Play this first without any exchanges, so that black doesn't get shape even possibly stronger. And in case black connects, white is already able to play something like this, and in case white simply plays here, this white's group is already alive, so that it's possible to survive there. It's not necessarily the best move to play this S2, it's just some option to make it like the most simple, basically for white. Yeah, but it is possible to do there something in that corner, so yeah, there is this aji. So when black wants to focus more about this right side, black chooses this kind of move. In case black would like to get the corner, normally black chooses this kind of move. When black has here also some extra stones around, maybe black can think about playing some a little bit different moves, and then white needs to think about how to use this stone. Maybe it's still possible to play something like this, and maybe doing something like this, something crazy, maybe some strange ko will be there, who knows. Or starting with this exchange and later playing here. Yeah, there are some crazy possibilities. It might be also quite simple if white only plays like this. This is like this more simple move, so that it's still possible to try to cut this shape, or even like this, and then hoping to get here some cutting, so that in case black will try to kill it, maybe white will be able to cut and still get some nice shape from it. So this is another option. Yeah, but it's in case black would have some help, because without this help, basically these kind of moves are already like almost center for white, and white can also actually get not so bad shape while even playing something like this. So that how to block this shape? Actually, it's not that easy. Playing only like this, it looks strange, right? And in case black would try to surround white, it's actually all the time not that simple, because in my opinion for white it will be all the time possible to get not that bad shape. After this move, this group is not that easy to kill it. So yeah, there are some possibilities for white later to play in the future, so that this move doesn't necessarily give black all the corner. Yeah, so these are some possibilities of playing for invasions. So usually black has some surrounding stones when white tries to play this kind of stuff. Of course, when we have already some black stone, for example, black would have a stone already in this spot, we should not choose this kind of move for black, because now black plays this not so good side. So like this, it would be more interesting for black to play like this. Yeah, and in case normally there is some empty area and white would play like this, then usually better would be to play this kind of move, so that it will be much more difficult for white to play any continuation on the right side. And the corner, all the time there are some, like, it's not 100% clear that white will destroy it all, and black all the time should be able to get some kind of a wall from this shape. So in case there is nothing, then normally I would recommend to play this kind of move. And this attachment normally we play when we still want to get some nice shape in this corner, like here, this top left corner, but we are afraid of this move. Then when we are like, white would be afraid that black would play here, and white still wants to get some center attachment and some shape from it, then usually white plays this kind of attachment first, and then white continues with some other moves, or white can also continue while playing this kind of moves. Okay, so let's continue with some other shape, maybe like this. Yeah, this looks like some popular opening, and for black, it might be interesting to play this kind of move sometimes. It used to be, at least before AI. So what happens after this move? After this move, what is black's reason basically to do this? Normally, in my opinion, black chooses this kind of moves so that black hopes white will panic and will start to invade somewhere. And then black will be able to use the stone while attacking this white group, which will appear. So, for example, in case white will play here, black can already kick, and now black would have a possibility to attack this white group, and this stone in the middle would maybe help black in this attack. So, like this, maybe it could be quite interesting for black to play it. Normally, from this, what I realized after watching and teaching some Q players, normally Q players are very afraid, of course in average, not everyone, but they're very afraid of opponent having big moyo. Usually I would recommend not to worry, still there is a lot of space. This is not black's territory, so so white doesn't need to invade immediately. White doesn't need to play something here because black would have there some big area. No need to worry, still there is a lot of space because white has a possibility to enter this way, white has possibility to enter this way, white all the time has Sansan, white all the time has moves like this, so that all the time it's possible to make there some group. Relax, no need to worry, no need to enter there immediately, but if white wants, it's of course possible to play Sansan, which is like move normally recommended by any AI, so that later after having, for example, this kind of move, this kind of exchange, now this black stone in this spot is simply not that efficient, so white should be simply satisfied with this kind of result because white just made black stone in not this direction where black would like to have it, so it's simply inefficient, it's close to the strong group without much profit. So it would be much better in my opinion if this stone would have been in any other big spot on the board. Like for example like this, here, or even from the other side. In any of these spots it would be more interesting to have this stone from K16. So this is like the common move for white to enter this Sansan after this one, and not to worry about black having some big moyo, because even after all these exchanges, even after all this, all the time is not black's territory. Like white, one thing is possible maybe to get even some Sente, possible to play Tenuki. So even if white will play somewhere else, all the time for black it's very hard to get all this territory here, because where black would need to play here, but all the time white is able to play here. But it doesn't mean actually that white needs to play there. White can still continue with playing something else. Will black play here one more time? Good. Black already invested 2 more stones there. Together with the stone in the middle is already 3. 3 stones just playing like that to have here this territory, it's simply small. And also, in case black would like to all the time keep this territory secured, then black of course would need to answer on these kind of moves, so that white can also build another wall from the other place. Like in case black would like to get this territory that much, in my opinion white would be just happy. Or in case white is afraid that black will try to play something like this, maybe white can also play a little bit further. So still, maybe black would answer. So like this, white anyway gets some profit from it, because black only blocks this, what was his, and white gets another stone for all the other part of the board. So black gets only one territory now, and white gets basically everything else. Here, one white's corner, here, all this other part of the board, it's what white controls. So in my opinion, white should be just satisfied in this kind of game. So usually I would recommend just not to worry that much about moyos, because normally there are many ways to enter and destroy it. So it's possible to wait and simply not invade that quickly. So yeah, we can also look actually on a little bit different position. For example, something like this. Here also, this shape looks already a little bit more secured, because black has a Shimari here, so that it's not possible to play that Sansan to destroy this corner that easily. But even in this position, in case black would have played here, still it's not necessary to worry about this. Still there is a lot of space for white. White doesn't need to enter here and play some crazy moves in this black shape. White all the time can ignore it and play somewhere else. Okay, white just plays there, and what can black do? Black will play here. Now all the time it's possible to enter, like here all the time there is empty area. But even if white will ignore one more time, will black play here? Okay, black played there, but now we can also notice that all this black's group in this top right corner still has some weaknesses. All the time there are some weaknesses connected with this kind of cutting points. In case black will answer, maybe white will be still able to create their living group. So white already got profit in really a lot of spots here with all these moves. Here white got like very nice profit group connected basically, and corner like basically belongs to white. So like this, white all the time has a possibility to play something there on the right side and get some group which maybe will be alive, maybe there will be some ko. In any case, even if there would be some ko, still it should be quite nice for white, because in this kind of course, white should have many local coasters to escape with a group. So no need to worry about this. And about territory, even if black would get some coasters, black would play twice. White would still have all like many other stones remaining on in the other parts of the board. And after winning a ko, of course, white would have a nice shape in that area. So also no need to worry about this. So here basically all the time there are some weaknesses in this black shape. If white is afraid of playing that deep, white can also consider simple moves like this one or this one all the time to get some profit there. Like why I'm speaking about this? Also because normally when like looking on the shape, black gets so big territory, many people can think like this, so let's invade there now. But after this kind of moves, when white plays, for example, in this spot, there is some change of this what's going on. Because now, let's say we get this kind of exchange, and let's say black will even connect now. Black will not ignore, but black will even connect. So what happens? It looks like white destroyed here black's potential. White gets the corner. Of course, there are all the time some agi, but basically white gets the corner. And what happens? Black gets a wall here. So maybe for black it will not be necessary to add this extra move already from this side. So black gained a stone. Next thing, because of black having this kind of a wall, it's actually more difficult for white to do something in this area, because black is stronger. Before, there was just one stone. Now there are 3 stones. More difficult for white to do anything inside. Also, black has actually the other 2 stones which help black as well, because in case white would like to go in this direction, for black it might be also still possible to block somehow white because of having these 2 extra stones. So while starting this kind of invasions too early, we can make opponent strong enough so that later it will be more difficult to play real invasion. So that maybe after this kind of exchanges, black might be already that strong that it will be much more difficult for white to play this real invasion, so that black will not have there this territory. Because like this, white destroys something on the start, but black gets stronger and black gets much more. And without playing anything there and just focusing on some other points of the board, we can actually notice that black is not that strong there. Okay, black has some potential, but black is not that strong. So doesn't matter what black plays. Anyway, there will be weaknesses. So black will play from one side, white can play from the other side, or white can wait even longer and still do there something more. So that even if black will add a few moves, all the time it will be not 100% from black. But in case white starts and white makes black strong, then it might be difficult to continue for white, and maybe black can also ignore it. And in case white invades at that moment, when black is already so strong around, then maybe black would be able to kill something. So normally when opponent tries to make so big kind of like areas, some moyos and so on, we can also notice the second side of this situation, that when there is so big shape, there is also a lot of space to survive. So it's not like opponent can get so big territory. We can also look on this, we have so much space to survive that we don't need to worry about this and we can just ignore it. So yeah, I would also recommend to think about this like on both ways, like also that it's possible to ignore this kind of shapes. Okay, so let's check some other position about invasions. This is a situation from some pro game, and here black has a wall. And white added a stone here. White added a stone. This is after some Joseki in the corner. After this Joseki, black played an extension. which at that moment was okay because white didn't have a stone here. But later white played a stone in this spot and black played tenuki. Black played this c14. So now, maybe for white, in my opinion, it could be already much more interesting to start some invasions because white has this extra stone. So it means that for black it's more difficult to go in that direction. So black with this group, when black has more difficulties in going into the center, for black it's more difficult to attack this white stone because now maybe black, it would be less likely for black to think, for example, about this kind of stuff because maybe white will play here, later white will play this kind of move to escape, and now suddenly we can notice that actually these black stones, they are not that strong. So now white uses this kind of possibility of having invasion because of getting this extra stone. So this is some kind of preparation. So first white makes sure black cannot get this wall that nice, but also later white has a possibility to play there some invasion in that shape. Yeah, so one thing is black's wall has stopped this possibility of expansion in that direction. Next thing, also white gets some territory on the top. So later in this kind of shapes, when we think that it might be possible to attack some wall, okay, yeah, attacking wall, but yeah, really, it might be like this, then this invasion start to be more interesting. In case black would have a stone in the spot that it would not be white stone, but it would be a situation like this, or even black would have a stone here, then it's not that important to play this kind of stuff. But when we see the situation that it's possible to attack something, then I would recommend to consider, to think more about having this kind of invasions. After this move, of course, black has a possibility to play from the other side to keep this group connected, but like this, white also has space to just try to survive there on the right side. So this is some different possibility. Maybe we can also try to compare this shape to the situation here on the bottom, because here, what's going on? Black attacks white, and maybe white would like to, for example, play this kind of stuff. Yes, it's possible to play there. Might be also quite interesting for white to try to destroy black's potential in the center. But who attacks whom? Of course, white can try to attack this black's group in the future, but for me it looks like now all the time black attacks white, and it will be hard to really change it. And in case black would have played something like this in this spot, white all the time has this possibility of playing, for example, this kind of moves, so that later it's possible to try to connect and make their life on this bottom, or in case black would try to cut, then it's still possible to destroy a little bit black's shape. So all the time there are some weaknesses. It's not that easy for black to really take it all. So it's not that urgent for white to play there, because all the time black will be attacking white. And here when white starts to play something on this right side, maybe white can try to do something so that we will change the situation and white will be attacking black. We can also have a look on a little bit different situation like this. It's also another situation from some pro game. Yeah, and in this situation, what happened? Basically, white played this move. This was the last move. So white played this kick, and then white played a move so that black cannot make a nice extension from these two stones. So it looks like, yeah, it's not possible to play this nice extension for black. So white is attacking black, so maybe it's necessary to escape. So maybe in this kind of situation, black would need to play something like this, yeah, and trying to escape with these two stones so that white will not attack it. Yes, it is possible to play like this, but maybe it's possible to look on this shape from a little bit different angle. So instead of just jumping here, maybe it's possible to think about attacking some things. Like this, black plays here. So now, will it be easy for black to attack these two white stones because of having this move? For sure, it will be easier. In my opinion, it will be easier, okay, because black has this extra stone, so it should be easier to attack. But all the time, it's not that simple. It's not that easy to attack these two groups. These two stones on the right side. Because what? In case white ignores it, and later black plays here, white can still jump. Or in case black plays here, white can still jump. Not that simple to attack it. So white doesn't need to worry that much about these stones. And black already invested own stone for escaping with these two stones. but maybe it's possible to think from like a little bit different side. Actually, what will happen in case black will ignore these two stones and play somewhere else? What can happen? Will white play where? Like this to really try to kill it all in one move? Not possible because there is some space. It's still possible to try to cut their white and even escape. So this simply doesn't work. So maybe white can think about playing a little bit wider. Yes, it's possible to play like this, but all the time there are some weaknesses. It might be still possible to try to escape for black at some point. Maybe it will be possible to play like this. So like this, white gets a wall from the other side. Maybe later it will be possible to get something here. Maybe, but all the time black has a possibility to escape. And all the time this side is an empty side and black even has stones there. So all the time it's not that simple for white to really get that side. So it's actually not that easy for white to find a nice continuation in that area. Maybe white can try to think about doing some combo, maybe playing a little bit further, having here a little bit space, a little bit more space, so that maybe it will be more difficult for black to escape. Maybe it's possible, maybe it's even a good move. But all the time there are some weaknesses for black. Maybe it's still possible to play here. And the next thing which I would like to tell you, maybe it's still possible to think for black that even after white adding this another stone, for example, to make it look nice, let's say white would play here in this spot and later here in this spot. So it looks like, white kills black. So yeah, it could look nice, but there are all the time some weaknesses. It's possible to play this kind of move in the corner, and it might be a time for white to spend a lot of time. Because what to do there? Will it be really possible to kill everything and hoping to kill this group, or no? In case white plays only from this side and black gets a possibility to live in the corner, then are these two stones really big? Not that big, right? Because of black getting the corner. And in case white tries to kill, will it be really possible to kill? Maybe there will be still some weaknesses. Maybe it will be possible to play something like this or like this and later some cutting points. Maybe. So this is a question to you if it's your game. But in my opinion, there will be weaknesses. Black all the time is able to play something like this in the Sansan. In my opinion, it's possible to do there something for white. It's not 100% white's territory yet. In case white plays to try to get this bigger, even more agi, then after this move, I'm pretty sure already white needs to cut if white wants to really kill these two stones. So all the time there would be this possibility of surviving in the corner. So it's not that simple for white to really kill these two stones and get some nice profit. Like white would need to play there basically many times to get all this shape. So when we know this thing, then we can think that, okay, so black doesn't need to play there now. Maybe it's possible to play something else. And for black, it would be still quite good to attack these two stones, right? So maybe black can think, playing here now, starting with this move. But white will just jump. So, okay, that's it. White escapes, and then maybe it will be possible to try to kill these black stones a little bit more. Because if black will add here some extra stones, maybe black will start to be heavy soon. So that in that moment when white kills black, then white will get just much more. So it's not that simple for black. So maybe black can think about something else. And here in the actual game, black decided to play like this. What's going on in this move? Black invades on the top, but in order to attack, in my opinion, these two stones here on the right. Maybe it looks like it's so far away, but what's gonna happen? What's the plan? Now white has these two stones weak, so white probably will need to escape with them. Because black would play here the schema and then would try to maybe kill those stones. So after this move, black will play here one more time. Okay? And now what happens? White, in order to make sure this wall is used well, maybe white would like to play this kind of move. And after this kind of move, maybe black will try to escape also, so that it will be possible to attack this white's group. So later, what's gonna happen? White will escape, black will escape, and then black will have this one white's group to attack. Black will be attacking this group. Here will be another white's group which is not that strong, and maybe for black it will be possible to get some extra stones here around, and later maybe it would be possible to attack here these two white stones on the right side. without adding this move here on the start. So this is like, in my opinion, a very interesting way of playing, so that black wanted to do something here, but actually it was not that interesting, so black started to play some invasion from other side, so white just made black stronger because of this exchange, for example, and because of the all of the other exchange which would be here soon. So when white gives black this strength, then it will be already much easier to attack these two white stones here on the right. So normally invasions are very interesting when it's possible to attack something. Then yeah, I would recommend to play invasions. In case white would have been already very strong, and for example white would have a situation that white has some shape, let's say like this. Now these invasions of course are too deep, because now white would just attack black, and black would have basically no chance to attack white. And when the situation is open like this, then in my opinion it's quite interesting, because black can attack white even if it's not directly this group, because white had to make some exchanges so that this group on the right starts to be weaker. Okay, thank you for your attention for all these 8 videos. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, maybe see you soon in some other videos. Thank you. Bye.